Excuse me, commissioners? 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 No, just a minute. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, I just wanted to let you know that we do have access to a restroom over here on this side through that door, but you can't hear the proceedings back there. And also, please speak into your mics because these don't pick up as well as the ones in chamber.
Hello?
Commissioner Stoddle?
Present.
We haven't started yet. I was just making an announcement. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'd like to call to order the September 29th, 2025 Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial Board meeting. Okay. Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are in compliance.
May we do the roll call at this time?
Yes. Chair Berkeley,
Here?
Commissioner Bryan, Commissioner Arnold, Commissioner Stoddle,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Coffin, Commissioner Hilton, Commissioner Sinuk, Commissioner Mowbray, Commissioner Truesdale, Commissioner Brandenburg, Commissioner Creer,
Here.
Commissioner Mills, Commissioner Prado, Commissioner Diaz. Thank you. We do have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Item number 3, public comment. During this portion of the agenda, it must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited, and it will be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anybody that wishes to speak under public comments? Seeing nobody, we'll move on to item number 4. Possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the special meeting of July 28th, 2025. Do I hear a motion? I move for approval. Shall we? We do not need a second. Okay. Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Now, let me ask you something. With this new setup, do we vote? Do we say aye or do we vote? We're vocalizing, okay? Item number 5, report by the City of Las Vegas Finance Department staff regarding the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial Budget for fiscal year 2026.
Councilwoman.
Would you
morning.
please state your name for the record?
Good morning, Mayor. Paul Bresnahan, Senior Financial Analyst for the Finance Department. Today I'm going to go over a few things. Financial reporting and audit overview, the fiscal year 2025 ending financial standing and program expenditures grant awards, annual revenues by category since inception, year-end cash balances at June 30th since inception, license plate numbers compared to the raters and the VGK, fiscal year 2026 financial standing and program expenditures, and a 5-year projection. So, financial reporting and audit overview. The City of Las Vegas, including the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial, has proudly received the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for over 45 consecutive years. In accordance with Nevada revised statutes, the city's financial statements, including those of the Commission of the Las Vegas Centennial, were successfully filed with the Nevada Legislative Council Bureau in August. An annual external audit is required by state law. For fiscal year 2025, the city has engaged Reuben Brown LLP to conduct the audit and to handle the commission for the Las Vegas Centennial's IRS tax return. The commission for the Las Vegas Centennial is classified as a discretely presented component unit of the city of Las Vegas, meaning it is a legally separate but financially accountable to the city and included in its audit. This classification is based on a number of things. One, the commission being a separate legal entity is required to file an independent tax filing. Another thing would be board members are appointed and ratified by the mayor and Las Vegas City's council. The Centennial's financial activity is reported in a separate column in the city's annual comprehensive financial report on the face of the basic financial statements. So for the year end June 30th, I wanted to go over these because I was not at the last meeting. License plate revenue for the year was $1,724,783. That's down compared to what was budgeted. Interest income was $264,729, which exceeded budget by almost $25K due to a large investment balance. Program expenditures were $2,018,059, which I'll get to the breakdown of this on the next slide. And then general and administrative expenditures were $222,996. And I know there were questions on this, so I just wanted to give a breakdown of this. That is,
I don't have a page number.
this is the first page. Okay. So 180,000 of this was the Centennial's contribution to the city's general fund. 8,525 was paid to the Plaza Hotel for the movie premiere. And then there was $9,450 for accounting and legal. About half of that was for the tax return. The other half was for lawyers' fees. And then an additional $25,000 was paid to Alliant Insurance Services for liability insurance. So we started the year with $6.4 million in net assets and ended the year with $6.2 million in net assets due to a decrease in license revenue and some large program awards that we will review on this next slide. So this slide contains all the amounts that were expended in the year ended June 30, 2025 and the year ended June 30th, 2026. Program expenditures for the year ended June 30, 2025 were $2,018,059, and you can see the breakdown here. So the biggest one was $660,000 to the city of Las Vegas, 1970 through 2005. Current year expenditures as of the end of August were $187,928, leaving a balance remaining of $2,247,737 on amounts awarded by this board. This next slide is a breakdown of revenues since inception in 2004. So you can see that since the beginning of time, $41.7 million. Of that amount, 37.8 was license plate revenue, $1 million in interest income, $2.8 million in like fundraising other income. This is the same information in a bar graph. This is the same information in a line graph. So you can kind of see how the money's come in over the years. This slide is the year-end cash balances since inception. So you can kind of see how the cash has grown since the beginning of time. This is the license plate history, a line graph, compared to the VGK and the Raiders. So since November, we have lost 1,330 license plate. The decline is about 1.5%, which correlates with the decrease in license plate revenue since that time. The net change in plate numbers from one month to the next is the number of plates added, deleted, and so the number has been a negative number since November. So every month since November, we have lost license plates. These are the financials for the current year through August, so it's really only 2 months through the year, not a lot of activity. You have $40,000 in interest income, and, sure.
Your Honor, may I ask a question? Just,
Do you want to ask a question or let him finish?
okay, I guess I only wanted to know if you could say when the Raiders subsidy of the license plates started, so we have a feel for free license plates versus those who spend, that's all.
I
So-
don't know the exact date when that started. I can find that for you.
Thank you.
Mayor, or excuse me, Chair,
Yes, Bob?
Bob Stoloff for the record. I had a couple of questions and comments, if I could at this time.
I would prefer if we waited till the presentation. Oh, I would prefer if we waited till the presentation is over. Would you mind, or is this very timely?
No, I thought the presentation was over. I can wait until the end. Thank you.
There's only one more slide.
He's
so-
got one more slide.
And this is directly to Mr. Stodle's request for a 5-year projection. So this is the 5-year projection with the following assumptions: that license plate revenues continue to decline at an average rate of 1.5% annually, that interest income on the cash balance with the conservative interest rate is 4%, contributions to the city continue to grow at 2.5%, that there are no new program expenditures or grant awards, so that's, you don't approve anything, and that legal, accounting, insurance, that grows at 2.5%. So if you look at this graph, you can see if you approve no new grants, this is what your cash balance will be every year for the next 5 years. So end of the current year, you will have 6.5 million. The end of next year, you would have 7.6 million. The end of 28, you would have 8.9 million, up to 10.7 to 12.4.
But that's if we
That's
did
if you
award
don't
another
award any
grant.
amounts to anybody that comes before the board.
All right. Paul, are you done with your presentation?
I am, Mayor.
All right, then, Mr. Stodall, would you care to ask your questions now?
Well, first, thank you, Chair. The first thing I would like to do is thank Paul and the financial staff. This is a great report. This is really an outstanding guide for the commission, including the 5-year projection. Of course, during those 5 years, the commission is going to grant awards for the applicants for the various projects. But it's a great tool, and Paul, again, just thank you and for the staff. Just one or two quick questions. On the fiscal year June 30th, 2025, the management and administrative services is budgeted at 175. I thought the budget was 180.
The budget probably should have been 180. That was set by the prior analyst. So it's a $15,000 contribution a month from Centennial Corporation to the city of Las Vegas. So I think if you probably go to, no, current year is 175 too. So that's just something we need to fix on the budgeting side.
Great. That's, yeah. And then secondly, Paul, can you give me an answer? Is who is authorized to spend Centennial funds for administrative and management services? Is there a single person, or is it just a process?
Well, everything has to go through the finance department. So, usually we would get an invoice. Diane would sign off on it. Seth would sign off on it. It would go to purchasing. They would approve the amount, make sure it's a approved vendor, and then they would send out a check or do an RFP.
I think that's very helpful. But again, Paul, this is a great report. A lot of details here, and again, the 5-year projection. That's a great tool for the commission. Thanks again, Mayor or Chair.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone that has any other questions? Yes, please.
Mills for the record. On the contribution to the city of Las Vegas of $15,000 per month, is that subject to fluctuation or is that at a fixed rate?
I believe it's fixed at $180,000. I thought there was an item which has been obeyed a few times to increase that amount, but right now it's just a flat rate every year, and I think you would have to approve to increase it.
Yes, Senator.
Paul, that's correct.
Yeah,
Senator?
A great report. Thank you very much. I have a question on the projections, which I like a lot. That's very, very helpful. How sensitive are our revenues to, like, sales tax revenues? Right now, as we all know, we're in a bit of a slump. Hopefully it'll be temporary. But how sensitive are we in terms of those license plate revenue collections to what the short-term effects would be experienced now on the Strip and throughout the Las Vegas area?
I don't know that that'll have any effect on it. I think it's really based on the number of license plates. So as people start trading in their license plates for, there's a wide array of plates you can get these days, way more than when the commission started. So as people turn in their Centennial plate, get some other kind of plate, that's what causes the revenue to decrease.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anybody else that has?
Chair?
Yes, Bob.
Well, one thing I did want to point out, over the last 2 years, research has been done and a book is being produced and published on the Betty Willis, the creator of that sign.
Yes.
And the book should be coming out this year. That, I think, may drive additional purchases of our license plates. So we just need to keep that in consideration. Again, thank you.
Anybody else on this side? Yes. And identify yourself for the record.
Oh, thank you. All right. If we believe that the rates are falling, is the 4%, well, it says conservative, is that, we really comfortable with that, or?
Well, I had it at 1.5%. Month to month, it could be less. Sometimes it's more. So I thought that 1.5 was a conservative amount.
I was talking about the 4% on interest.
Oh, well, yes. As the cash balance grows, your interest continues to grow. So if you look at the revenue chart,
Or maybe I looked at the wrong chart, sorry.
you had $265,000 last year. The year before that, you had $327,000. So it also depends on the market rate. It depends on a lot of external factors. But as that money's invested, you will receive interest income on it. Right now, it's about $20,000 a month.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? Now, is this informational only, or do we need to vote on this?
It's just information.
Thank you so much. Agenda item number 6. 25-0438-CLC1, final report by staff from the Neon Museum regarding the completion of the Duck Duck Shed, celebrating Las Vegas architecture, design, and culture 2024 4-day event funded by the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial All Wards.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
It's nice to
see
see
you.
all of you. Thank you very much. Also, as a person with a mobility issue, it is lovely to sit in front of all of you. So thank you for that opportunity.
I'm having the same issue today.
Thank you. It's a nice moment to sit. So thank you for that. So I am very excited to present to you the outcomes of Duck Duck Shed that occurred in April. The way we presented this was to look at the Centennial Commission's giving pillars and focus in specifically on the 2 areas, both events and educational. So this report reflects directly to the giving parameters that Centennial provides. So Duck Duck Shed commemorated the history of the city of Las Vegas, promoted tourism, encouraged the public through the delivery of unique experiences from the events aspect. From the educational aspect, we provided unique teaching and engagement opportunities for the public that increase the appreciation of the city. And let me show you how we did that. So just as an opportunity to remind all, Duck Duck Shed is 4 days exploring Las Vegas architecture, design, and culture. As many people here, especially those that have long tenures in Las Vegas, I think there's been an underappreciation of what Las Vegas actually provides, architecturally, culturally, and the uniqueness of this one-of-a-kind city. And so Duck Duck Shed was created with an effort to just bring a spotlight to that. This is our third year of hosting Duck Duck Shed. In this year, we did 41 programs, which is a 38% increase in the number of programs from the year prior. The part that is important for the commission is you got more bang for your buck. So you gave us the same amount of money as we did last year, but we did 38% more programs. So feel good about that. The second is that we had 921 million media impressions. I always think it's important to think of that as the US population is about 333 million people. So 3 times that saw Duck Duck Shed represented in media during the course of this offering. 96% was our rating, so attendees gave us 96% saying that it was either a 4-star or 5-star program over the course of the 4 days. And then we increased our partnerships. So we had 15 different partners who were all engaged in this. And again, I'll give you a little more detail so as we move through, it makes some more sense to all of you. This first slide is the attendance. Very, very, very excited to say that we have broken the threshold of 5,000 attendees. I think it is important in a couple of aspects. First is, as we've all been painfully aware, tourism has suffered this year. Despite that, we have seen a growth of approximately 15% more people attending this program, and we saw a 61% increase in ticket sales. And that sounds confusing, and I'll explain that a little bit for you. The ticket sales is because the growth in ticket sales is because we very consciously lowered our ticket price. So in previous years, ticket prices were as much as $250 per event. We made sure that there were a great number of free programs. There were programs that were $25, and there were programs, the most expensive one that we offered was $165. That was one program, and that included a buffet at Bacchanal. So we had in addition to that, we had a 500% increase in college student attendance. We're extremely proud that the athletics were kind enough to underwrite UNLV and CSN students to come and attend the panel programs at no cost. So we were able to see them come through, and the students, as always, provide the greatest questions. They humble me at every turn, and have a chance to learn from these individuals who are standing on stage. So that attendance, it's not just important that we grew the attendance, but it was also who those attendees were. The photos that you see there, just to give you sort of a variety of who these attendees are, in the left image, that is a depiction of the exhibition. We'll talk a bit about that was held in City Hall. This is, the middle one is our family program that had an architecture focus that brought in several hundred to just attend that one-day program. And then finally, our lecture programs that took place inside Binion's on Fremont Street. We'll talk a little bit about that more. So, as I said, 41 programs over 4 days, left the staff tired, but happy. We had expert-led tours of downtown Las Vegas, as well as a curated exhibition that was in the halls of City Hall, in the lobby, rather, of City Hall. We had panel discussions. We premiered a movie that, this is just sort of one of those things that I never thought would be on my bucket list, but is definitely there. We premiered a movie that was set in Las Vegas in and centered solely around downtown Las Vegas, and we premiered it in a downtown Vegas venue, and I'll show you that in just a second as well. We did family programming, as I mentioned, and then we had continuing education opportunities. We partnered with the American Institute of Architects so that for those panel conversations, AIA architects could get continuing ed credits for engaging and participating in that. So we really reached out. Our next effort is to work with the ASID interior designers so that they too can engage in continuing education as a part of this opportunity. Commemorating Las Vegas history and promoting tourism. So the panels were all held at Binion's Gaming Hall on Fremont Street. This was an opportunity to attract all of these visitors to downtown Las Vegas and have them engage with this historic property, with Binion's, and really engage with Fremont Street in such a unique way. We had also, again, guided tours. This is our third year of doing guided tours of Fremont Street, providing a really historical perspective of Las Vegas. And there you see Richard Hooker in his finest, doing what he does best. Again, providing that unique experiences and focusing on tourism. This is where we were really focused on being property specific. So I mentioned that we held these programs at Binion's. So we did an exhibition, a pop-up exhibition within the panel space that was focused on both Binion's and the Mint, so that we were able to get items out of our own collection storage, pull them out, and let people engage with these artifacts, which was really exciting. Our opening night, we always have sort of a kickoff reception. This time we had it at the ever famous Whiskey Liquor Ups, which was right on Fremont Street. And what I love about this property is that not only do the windows open and look down over Fremont Street, so all these attendees from around the country and 2 different countries around the world got a chance to come and lean out over and watch the historic talk for just a few minutes to let people see the original Mint sign that is still in place and has been built over, that is part of Whiskey Liquor Up. So it wasn't just about being able to drink a beer out of a glass boot, which you can do there at Whiskey Liquor Ups, but it was also about actually being able to fold in the history. So one of the messages of the Neon Museum, and certainly Duck Duck Shed, is that history is alive and well in Las Vegas. We live in the implosion capital of the world, and yet history thrives here. You just need an interpreter to be able to show it to you, and that's what this program is all about. So the second part was this. I've lost my wand here. The second part was the stories from backstage, Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas. This was an amazing partnership between the Neon Museum and Cirque du Soleil. We had over 100 artifacts. I think that if I look at many of the commissioners, it would be hard to believe any of you didn't at least walk past that exhibition in City Hall in the lobby. This was an opportunity to engage as much of the public as possible in understanding not just the art of Cirque du Soleil, but to understand the people who actually reside in Las Vegas, who put together the costumes, the athletes, the number of Olympians that live in Las Vegas, and highlighting their contributions to our city. We did try and do research, and unfortunately we weren't able to prove this fact, but I'm going to stand by it anyway. Las Vegas has one of, if not the highest number of Olympians living in this city because of Cirque du Soleil. Because when that athletic career has come to an end, that competition career has come to an end, Cirque du Soleil has allowed these careers to continue and go on. And so they actively seek out Olympians and bring them here to live in our city. And this was a chance for people to see this and understand it in a really special and I think a new perspective. Again, sticking under this appreciation of the city, I alluded to this briefly. This was one of my favorite events that we've done so far in Duck Duck Shed. We were able to showcase the world premiere of a movie called Action Action. There were over 800 in attendance at Stadium Swim. So there's an image inside the center image there, which is the outdoor pool venue. 800 people showcased there. In the film itself, there is the Mob Museum. So the storyline is 3 friends who are hired to steal a painting by Al Capone from the Mob Museum. And of course, there's a double twist or a double cross. And so the movie's great fun. You absolutely must see it. It is terrific. But to showcase it in front of 800 outside on this fabulous screen in this one-of-a-kind venue was a joy. Fremont Street was highlighted, Oscar's Steakhouse was highlighted, the Legacy Club was included, World Market. All of these downtown properties were very key and central to the piece. Unfortunately, what I don't have to show you, we had a technical issue on our part, but as a part of the promotion of this, what we did was the filmmaker, Adam Kilborn, he and I would go to the sites that we just talked about. Whoops, the wrong way. Sorry, this way. We would go to the Mob Museum in Fremont Street and Oscars, and we would go to the Legacy Club, and we would do a 30-second spot promoting the film, certainly, but also giving the historical context, right? So talking about Fremont Street, this is the first paved street in the city of Las Vegas, and yet it's also the scene of a car chase that takes place in the movie. So it's a lot of fun to be able to integrate those into it and make it relevant for so many people. Media and marketing, very, very proud. As I mentioned, 920 million media impressions around the world. We had 106 pieces of coverage. That included MSN, Travel and Leisure, the Boston Globe, and hold on one second, I want to make sure I don't miss this great quote. The Art Report Today made a comment that said, Duck Duck Shed is the model to emulate. Travel Weekly said, Duck Duck Shed returns for another deep dive into what makes Vegas tick. The part that I'm really proud of, and I think our staff and the city as a whole should be proud of, is this is just our 3rd year of bringing this out, and getting this type of international attention is something we can all just applaud and celebrate. As I mentioned, we had a number of partners. We worked very hard at focusing on the fact that the Centennial Commission has been an incredible supporter of us. You have provided the seed money to make this possible. This year we worked diligently to, as I said, go out and find others to step up and support as well. I am thrilled to tell you that we finished the year in the black. So we are not operating in the negative. We ended the year in the positive of $98,000 in the black. So that is a true testimony to more and more people becoming excited by this concept and seeing this concept come to pass. I want to just say, as I close and stop talking, which is always a challenge for me, the first is, the thing we've learned in this 3 years and the support the Centennial Commission has given us is the most important thing is there's an audience. There is a growing audience that as Duck Duck Shed continues to gain traction and gain awareness, there are people who are not only local, but regional national and international, who want to come and hear from these speakers. I think that is absolutely critical. The next step, as we've done this internally, and my team and I have worked so hard at building what has been made, the next step is now working with LVCVA to really make this a national or international destination and bring people here in a broader scope. So we have that meeting set up. We're looking forward to talking further about what that comes to be. We did make, this year we made it in April. And the reason we switched dates, we've held it in the last couple of years in October. We switched dates and attached ourselves to the end of the International Sign Association Conference, as well as a design conference called SEGD. And we thought by being at the end of that people would extend their stay and stay with us. We learned that wasn't the case. People wanted to go home and see their kids. So that's okay. We're going to go back to October, and we're going to focus on how to do that. I do want to say, though, that the ISA conference, this international conference, brings in 6,000 people. We brought in over 5,000. So that we're in the running for being a significant partner in bringing tourism into downtown Las Vegas. So again, October of 2026 will be the next one. LVCVA will be helping us to shape it. But with your incredible help, we've now been able to prove there is a concept and an audience for this. So thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Is there anybody on the commission that wishes to ask Mr. Berger any questions? Yes, Bob.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. I'll just confine it, I think, fairly narrowly to architecture.
Sure.
Because I read a little bit about duck sheds and duck architecture. It's interesting. But then I've lived 70 years downtown Las Vegas, actually almost 75. And now we moved 7, 8 months ago to the east. Mobility issues, we had to move out of our beautiful old-fashioned downtown ranch-style home. Now, I can't stand it. I want to move back, but we can't. Because the western part of town, I'm thinking Buffalo, Tropicana, in that area, nothing but brown and shades of tan, block walls everywhere, made of dissolvable block that with a sufficient amount of water could probably dissolve into a pile of sand. All the same. The buildings, the commercials, all the same. Block squares, flat roofs, nothing of appeal, by the way. I just thought I'd tell you that I'm sure our west part of Las Vegas is just as bad, but I live in the county now, and I wish I was back in the center of the city. And I don't know what is the future of Nevada. Are we all going to have buildings, new buildings, look just like that?
The story of, it's funny, I describe as you leave the immediate downtown area, just look for the building that's 2 stories in beige. Because they all are. So yes, that is. I hear what you're saying, Commissioner. I hear that comment. Yeah.
Well, it's terrible. I mean, I have to say that we look terrible, and I don't know whether people coming into town like that or think it's just suitable for the desert because supposedly we don't live here, you know. And yet I'm worried about it because we're going to just sink into the slime again, and I don't like that at all.
Well, again, behind the concept of Duck Duck Shed, what we're trying to do is highlight the architectural, you spoke specifically to architecture. We highlight the architectural achievements, both good and bad. I mean, in this year we talked about Morris Lapidus, who is a famed architect known for the Miami style. We talked about him and his work at his influence on the Fontainebleau and its redesign. So being able to look at these pieces and whether they are success or still in evolution, that is definitely part of the dialogue that we try and create.
Well, I'll like one last thing, man. I just think it's been about 30 years ago since the legislature grabbed hold of the buildings people and said, what are you doing with all these flat roofs? Because we're paying a fortune to fix the leaks. And so that's one of the things I asked a builder here recently. And he said, we don't worry about that now because we've got this fabric we can stretch across the top and So we don't worry about that anymore. Well, they've just been doing it a few years, maybe 5, 10 years. How long? And they said, well, it'll last 50 years. They don't know our weather, our sun, and all of that, and the dryness, humidity, they'll die. And so I just wanted to say that it's phony, and I hope some member of the AIA around here can contact me and tell me I'm full of it. But if not, I'd like to tell them the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
How encouraging. All right. Would anybody else like to ask Mr. Berger a question? All right. In that case, this report fulfills your obligation to give a final report to the commission, and we're very grateful to you, and thank you for an outstanding presentation.
Thank you very much for the support and the generosity of the commission. We're very, very, very grateful. Thank you.
Our pleasure. I'd now like to take item 7 and item 8 together, and I'll read them both. Item 7, 25-0288-CLC1, abeyance item, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $607,500 by the City of Las Vegas, acting by and through its Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs for the production of the 2026-2028 El Dorado Days Parade, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. And item 8, 25-0386-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $405,000 by the City of Las Vegas, acting by and through its Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs for the production of the 2026-2027 El Dorado Days Parade, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. Yes, please state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor. And Commission members. I'm Jasmine Freeman, Cultural Affairs Manager for our Parks, Rec, and Cultural Affairs Department.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Marja Bigas, Special Events Administrator and Parade Organizer for the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Department.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, well, we are here to talk about the El Dorado Days Parade. Just a couple of highlights from the history of the parade. It's a very long-running history. It is actually the longest-running event in Las Vegas, established in 1935. It was created by the Elks Lodge to raise funds to build their local lodge, and it celebrated Las Vegas's Wild West roots with parade floats and rodeos, and became a community tradition that kept the dam workers and families in the area. The parade actually went on a hiatus from 1997 to 2005, and it was revived by the Centennial Commission, which is now a historic community event, in 2005. The parade features bands, floats, artists, car clubs, and cash prizes for our schools and our creatives.
So the 2026 El Dorado Days Parade is planned for May 9th, and the 2027 parade is actually planned on Las Vegas's birthday, May 15th. Our parade is located on the traditional parade route on 4th Street from Gas to Stewart Avenues. This is also used for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Parade, the Pride Parade, and the Veterans Day Parade. Staging areas extend all the way down to Las Vegas Boulevard, and we utilize all the side streets in between. This passes by the historic 5th Street School, highlighting its historic value, and it's also used as a main prep location for us.
Parade marketing is a huge component of getting the community out to the event. We have multi-channel strategy, TV, radio, digital, social media, and billboards, with 148 TV spots and multiple news interviews, 117 radio spots and live radio interviews, digital e-blasts from radio stations, streaming ads on platforms like Spotify and Pandora, and social media marketing campaigns on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which is videos, reels, carousels, and then banner ads on local news, entertainment, and event websites, 41 billboards across Las Vegas in English and Spanish, over 75,000 10-second spots. And of course, the Office of Communications affirms its support for engaging an external marketing firm, recognizing that it does not have the internal capacity to fulfill the comprehensive marketing requirements of this event, but Communications does broadcast and replay the parade on CLV TV. And Jeff, would you play that audio clip for me, please? Okay.
Eldorado, go, go, go! It's the Eldorado Days Parade, Saturday, May 10th, 10 a.m., downtown Las Vegas. Go for the cowpokes, hot rods, marching bands, dancers, free swag, and so much more. The Eldorado Days Parade. Just go!
Just go. Actually, that was one of our radio spots. Those are both in English and Spanish, as well as our news interviews. And you can see here we've got some of our supporters and commission members and council members on some of our ads and featured here on this slide. You can see at the top left or top right of the screen the Commission for Las Vegas Centennial. It's cut off just a little bit here in our trying to squeeze as many pictures as we could from Madam Mayor's interview, but that's also featured on the bottom of our billboard banners as well. So of course, you know, making sure we shout out to the Centennial Commission for funding the parade in those ads.
Eldorado.
As you can see here, our parade entries have increased every year. So this year we had 133 entries, which is our largest parade to date. And then our attendance has also increased over 50% from 2023. One thing that is most rewarding for us is the impact that it has on schools. We were able to provide the schools $43,000 this year. It's $1,000 awarded to school marching bands and performing groups, and $15,000 awarded to schools that build and enter a quality float. Some of the groups include marching bands, ROTC units, cheer teams, choirs, and sports teams. These funds help cover travel expenses, purchase equipment, and support a variety of student activities.
And then next up, public safety. So public safety is a huge component of the event as well. We partner with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and we ensure the safety of all of our participants and spectators. They provide a comprehensive public safety presence during the parade, which includes both the command operations and coverage along the entire parade route. This is in line with new and updated safety expectations for all of our events that are on our roadways to make sure that our parade goers are safe and separate from any actual traffic in the area. And as you can see here, we have upwards of 60 plus officers on hand the day of the parade. This year, we had 3 casinos join the parade, Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel, Plaza Hotel and Casino, and Resorts World Las Vegas. Getting hotel casinos involved has been a goal of ours in the past, and it's actually been a tough go to get them involved, but something that we've been working really hard to improve upon. And the team put in the extra effort to connect with resort staff, and they shared easy to follow information that they worked with our communications team to create a one sheet on how to take part in the parade and why this matters, both for the community and of course for their team spirit for their staff. So we're really proud of that progress, and we're going to keep working to continue to get more casinos involved in the fun next year.
So to make the parade more exciting and enjoyable, we involve roving entertainment along the parade route. These performers interact with the spectators, bringing energy, fun, and a festive vibe to the entire event. This interactive element keeps the crowd engaged between entries and creates a memorable experience for attendees of all ages. Here is a breakdown of the cost to produce each of the year's parade. We are requesting $405,000 to fund the 2026 and 2027 Eldorado Days Parade. That's $202,500 per year, with an annual in-kind contribution of over $79,000. That does not include about the 30 volunteers that we have return each year for parade day. Securing multi-year funding allows us to plan more effectively and efficiently, giving us the ability needed to grow the parade and improve operations over each year. It gives schools and community groups ample time to add the event to their calendars, which supports continued growth and participation. Because this is a reimbursable grant, we would only request reimbursement for the amount that we spend, and the funds would not roll over to the next year. So that is our presentation.
Thank you so much. Now, I think the question and the reason that I put the two items together is there's been a question of whether the Centennial Commission would approve 3 years' worth of funding or 2 years' worth of funding. And I think that is the issue on the table now. Do any of our commissioners have any thoughts on whether we should be funding 3 years, as I understand, had previously requested, or 2 years, which would be agenda item number 8. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Mayor. I favor this, Senator Bryan, I'd favor a 2-year, but I'm certainly not.
Would you speak up?
Hill to die for, excuse me.
Oh,
Yes, Senator Bryan, I favor a 2-year, but it's not a hill to die for if the rest of the commission feels differently, but I kind of like to get an update in terms of how we're doing, and the report, I think, was very good. So.
I thought the report was excellent, too. And yes, Bob.
Thank you, Mayor. I am also, like the governor, I would prefer 2 years. Let's not go out too far. But I also have some thoughts when you're open for thoughts.
I'm open for your thoughts.
On the route and on some of the other things. And I brought them already up last meeting, and I'd like to expand on them today when you're ready for that kind of thing.
All right. Well, I think there's no time like the present. Why don't you go ahead and share your thoughts with us?
All right, ma'am. Well, we're all about history here, and we all know too much. Some of us marched in the parade as a child, and I can tell you that nothing beats Fremont Street for this parade, and I hate the idea that we've got to keep going down sterile old 4th Street. Why can't we bring Fremont back into the action? We cross it at 4th. Why not start it on Fremont? Somewhere to the east. Now, just as an example, somewhere to the east. Let's say down by the El Cortez, or maybe a little further, but not much further, because you get hills and stuff. But you're really level there. And bring it toward 4th and down toward, south on 4th. Reverse the direction, but give it some flair. And I think only Fremont Street can give us the flair we need.
Hannah?
Really?
And I agree with the commissioner, because when as a kid, I believe it started on Las Vegas Boulevard, then came up Fremont, and it was almost like no interruption, no break at all, and it was fun because we would stand. You really had more places to stand or to sit if necessary, and it was exciting. Because some of us followed it from down Las Vegas Boulevard and back up to the.
Remember, we had bleachers sometimes along. Yeah.
No, that's an
Chair,
outstanding thought.
Bob?
Yeah. First of all, I endorse a discussion of moving at least part of the parade to Fremont Street. We need to bring in the resort owners and so I think out of this, and I don't know if a motion has been made to grant the 2-year request.
Not yet.
For the parade, but I would like to go ahead and make that motion.
Hold on,
and while it is, and while it's not part of the motion, I think that it would be great to have a formal discussion with the city and members of the resort industry on Fremont Street. They'd be key to that, and look to the opportunities that it would provide. The parade doesn't have to be 10 hours long, but it does need to focus on the history of the city of Las Vegas. And I think the second part is that it needs to be televised. And we can fund the Centennial Commission through the city or television station or something else, but it needs to be televised for all those people that cannot make it down to Fremont Street. I think we can increase the audience for this parade. So I would like to make a motion to approve the agenda items that make it a 2-year funding.
Madam Mayor?
Thank you.
Hold on.
All right.
Madam-
All those
Hold
in
on.
favor?
Madam Mayor?
Oh,
I've been,
Cedric, I'm
yes,
so
thank
sorry.
you. I know I blend in.
No.
So I just want to comment on the 2 to 3 year issue. I know that I was the one that actually brought it up a while back when the plaza was coming in and trying to provide them with more continuity as they move forward in their planning for the events. They come in every year and you don't know if you're going to get it or if you're not going to get it. We have a trusted partner. They've done well by the resources that we have allotted them, and it would give them an opportunity to properly plan instead of coming in every couple of years. And I don't know if someone staff can remember if we did 2 or 3 years for them. Do you remember, Dr. Seaburn?
Yes, it was 3 years.
It was 3 years, yeah. And I don't believe there's any issues with them. This is our city team. I know personally that how excellent they are and how responsible they are in being fiduciaries of the resources that would be allotted. If our team is asking us for 3 years, I would be in favor of a 3-year allotment, which will allow them to properly plan moving forward. We can always come and ask them to give us an update every year so we can stay on track. And if we needed to rescind that, we can always come back if there's issues to rescind that as well. But I would be in favor of a 3-year based off of the team that we have, the people who are asking for it, the history of the work that they've done, and they're good fiduciary stewards of the dollars.
What we'll do, Hannah wants to speak before we vote. We have an item on the floor for a 2-year funding, and we'll vote on that and see where that motion goes. Hannah, did you want to say something?
I had a question. When you mentioned that you were having difficulty, or you were trying to get the hotels engaged in providing floats or whatever, like we were accustomed to seeing, are they resistant to do so? Because that was the highlight of our parades, was the floats with the beauty queens on them and everything.
Chairman, if I could jump in?
Yes, please.
The history of that is during the 1950s, when the Las Vegas Strip was in its formative stages, there was an ongoing debate between the Las Vegas Strip and downtown Las Vegas, and it was the feeling of the Strip at that time that they needed to pull out their parades and their floats and so forth. It was a transitionary moment for the city of Las Vegas, but the parade survived and we move forward. But I think we do need to clearly bring in the resorts on Fremont Street into this discussion. But that's later on. I'd like to call for a vote.
All right. The motion is to fund the El Dorado Parade for 2 years. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? In that case, the motion passes. I would suggest, I don't know whether Fremont Street is gonna, we'd be able at this time to do Fremont Street, but I think that is a worthy conversation to have, not at this time, but I think that we can certainly discuss that in future meetings. So thank you both so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Agenda item 9. 25-0387-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $207,000 by the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority for collecting oral histories and the production of a documentary film titled Marlboro Manners Past, Present, and Future, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. Hello, would you please state your name for the record?
Yes, ma'am. Kathy Thomas, Chief Housing Officer, Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be here with you today and to talk about our Marble Manor Past, Present, and Future project. For some of you, this will be an update, but I'm glad to introduce what's happening now on the historic west side of Las Vegas. Marble Manor is a public housing development that is undergoing lots of change. And so this project would be to collect and document oral histories and produce a documentary of those residents. And these are typically the folks that history forgets. These are the voices that we don't typically collect as we are identifying forward movement and reflection in the rear. And so this complete redevelopment at Marble Manor is transforming it from a conventional public housing site to a mixed-use, mixed-income development, and we're very excited about it. Our request to you is for $207,000 to complete the documentary and collect the oral histories of those residents, and of course, we will provide a match from the Housing Authority of $36,500. This development was built in phases as far back as 1942, and so it has most definitely gone through its useful life cycle, and we are currently in the demolition phase, actually, for this development to rebuild it. It's important for the residents of the historic West Side because Marble Manor was the place where many were able to reside after there was a lot of condemnation on the historic West Side and subsequent redlining that prevented African Americans from actually moving from outside of this neighborhood. And so Marble Manor was transformative in the sense that it became a place of community even in the face of less than positive history. So there's been significant deterioration, as you can imagine, in a post-war cinder block development over the years, and this is an opportunity for us to do some reinvestment through a large grant called the Choice Neighborhood Initiative Grant. We applied as co-applicants with the City of Las Vegas for $50 million, and it's an 8-year grant awarded to do this physical transformation. We've got lots of partners that I've listed here on the slide, and this $50 million will be leveraged with a significant amount of supportive services, over $48 million from these partners here. The total build-out project will exceed $350 million. If you look in the lower corner of the slide, you'll see a logo that says "A New Beginning." That was actually designed by a 17-year-old resident of Marble Manor. This process has been very intentional about including resident voice in the process so that we're not doing this for them or to them, but with them as residents. So you're looking at a schematic of what the transformed property will look like. It's scattered out over 30 acres. Currently, low-level, single-story, cinder block, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom units. And it's adjacent to the historic Moulin Rouge site, which, as you know, is a vacant lot. And we are the catalyst for redevelopment of a large scale in this neighborhood, and we're very excited about that. The 8 years will have 5 phases, and so this is intentional so that we don't dislocate residents. We want to relocate them slowly, build back, bring them back. I should underscore that all 235 residents who are currently residents in good standing will be able to return to the completed development. And that's very important to the community, that as we revitalize it, that we don't displace folks or gentrify them out of the community. They will be welcomed back. And what you're looking at there, which is a little small, I even have to put my glasses on to tell you that the total returning units will be 627, and they will include a variety of housing types. So this definitely will not be conventional public housing when it returns. There will be townhomes and a variety of units that will welcome families of all incomes back into the community. and including the 235 that are currently residents. Here is a picture of what it currently looks like and a schematic of the type of housing that will replace it, and we promise it won't be a desert tan and flat roof. Again, the residents have been providing a great deal of input into what they would like to see. By the way, we'd be happy to bring a full display of that back to the commission, because there will also be an opportunity for artwork installations, murals, and different textured painting and siding to bring some interest and also to reflect the diverse cultures that currently live in the community. There are a number of planned on-site amenities, again, driven by what the current residents told us is important in their home. So you will see a green spine and an outdoor performance space, water features, public arts, and playgrounds, lots of green space. You'll see a green spine walking trail that connects the entire development. Currently, you cannot walk from one end of the development to the other because it is chopped up in ways that don't lend itself to community. And in conversations with the residents, it's very important that there be some internal sense of community as this is redeveloped. So, the specifics of what we're requesting assistance to do. We want to do 50 to 65 individual interviews, as well as collect images and documents from the current residents. There's a treasure trove of artifacts that often go uncollected because even the owners of those pictures and programs and other documents don't understand the value and how they contribute to the history of the community. So we want to create a repository for those materials and assist the residents in preserving those. And of course, we will have some assistance from Ms. Clay T. White at UNLV in that process so that we can all learn together how to preserve those personal artifacts for a larger historical narrative. And the second part of this is a documentary that incorporates the recorded interviews and oral histories and has additional footage that tracks the redevelopment process from demolition and new construction to reoccupation of the residents as it all comes to life. And of course, we will keep that both on our website and provide a video loop so that everyone can see the progress as it occurs. We have a community-based group called Gas Station Studios that will provide that work. And interestingly, Gas Station Studios hires young people from the community to work on projects. And so they have another way to make sure resident voice and resident agency is included in this process. We anticipate this to be a year-long project that will kick off in January of 2026 and wrap up by December. And as I've shared, this is important because this has been a community that has seen decades of disinvestment and the resultant decline. Recently, in recent years, and we all want to wave at former Councilman Cedric Creer, who took a plan called the 100 Plan and insisted that we invest the time and the resources to move forward with significant revitalization of the historic West Side. And so there are still lots of significant and important stories to be told about its impact on the city, the impact not just for the residents, but its adjacency to downtown Las Vegas, and telling the story of what redevelopment and true renaissance means for the residents today. So I will stop there and be happy to entertain any questions. And once again, thank you for your time today.
We appreciate it, Kathy. Before members of the commission have an opportunity to comment or question, is there anybody from the public who would like to say a few words? Clay T., I see that you're in attendance. Would you care to say a few words?
Not that she's calling you out or anything,
Yeah.
specifically.
So thank you so much.
Would you
So-
state your name for the record?
Yes, I am Clay T. White. Currently, I am the director of the Oral History Research Center at UNLV. Currently. So I am retiring on December 19th, 2025. And I will be able to devote some time to projects in the community that I am passionate about. So because of that passion, I am looking forward to working on this project with the Southern Nevada Housing Authority. I plan to interview people who live in Marble Manor, lived there for years, as well as the leaders in the community who shepherded this project for years and years. So a comprehensive project so that we can pull out wonderful stories, amazing achievements that came out of this housing development. The women of the welfare rights movement lived in Marble Manor and were able to meet together and do all of the wonderful things they did back in the 60s and 70s because that was home for them. And they could meet whenever they needed to do great things like plan a march on the Las Vegas Strip from that location. So that's what we're planning to do. I'm planning to help collect these interviews along with this time, and they will be videoed along with gas station. So something different for me as well.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments from members of the commission? Yes, Hannah.
Kathy, you did state what year it was built, and I didn't write it down and I forgot.
Yes, it was built in phases, so some in the 40s and some in the 50s. So 1942, and then another phase in the early 50s.
Because I remember some of the building because my mother moved us here when I was in 1945.
Yes.
And I went to school with a lot of kids that lived in Marble Manor. And I think during that time, the rents were prorated, and they were able to have an upgraded lifestyle, and it was a real decent place to live.
Indeed.
And, yeah, and I went to school with several kids. That
I'm
were
proud to
raised
say
there.
we have been able to keep the rents affordable. It is considered, I mean, though it may not have started its life that way, it is still conventional public housing, and so the rents are still affordable for those families.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Cedric.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say it's a great project. Obviously, we worked long and hard with the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority on that CNI grant.
Yes.
And we were awarded the grant, which is amazing. What it's going to do to just beautify and revitalize an entire community. You know, you've heard me say many times we're changing the course of the river, and that is a key component of it. We're going to modernize our community. We're going to triple the size of the residents that are going to be there, add more amenities. And the story of Marble Manor within itself is worth the grant to tell that story. And then to take it from then to now, then I think it's great. I think anybody who lived, I live across the street. 3 minutes from there, used to walk to the Guy Center and had friends that lived in Marble Manor. So anybody who's lived in the historical West Side for a number of years has spent some time at Marble Manor. And so I think it's great. This is exactly what we should be doing to support and look forward to seeing the final product.
Yes.
Sinok for the record. Just want to clarify on the total development costs. Did you say 335 million?
Over $350 million to rebuild the
Everything.
entire development.
And 627 residential units?
Indeed. So it'll be a combination. We're using mixed finance, meaning there'll be some tax credits in it. There will be some what we call project-based vouchers. There'll be a number of things in order to get it built, but also to keep it affordable to the families who currently live there so that they are able to return.
That's 525,000 a unit?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's
construction costs have escalated beyond what any of us could have imagined, and I would love to have a whole nother conversation about that, but yes, sir.
Yes.
Mills, for the record, I have a couple of things. I'd like to know where the name Marble Manor came from, and also when you reconstruct the area, is it going to be strictly street parking, or will there continue to be parking spaces?
So I'll answer the second question first, and then let Ms. Clay T. to tackle where the Marble Manor name came from. I think we spent, maybe I'll call Jamie up. We spent a little while trying to dig that up. There will be parking internal once the development gets going, and so a little less street parking because there'll be some widening of sidewalks and streets. So for the residents, the parking will be internal to the development.
Good question. Clay T., would you happen to know how the name Marble Manor came about?
No, I don't. Does anyone
Jamie,
know?
okay, we're going to bring Jamie up. Jamie Gillis is a consultant that helped us dig that up from somewhere.
I'll tell the short version of it. Hi, Jamie Gillis with Centro, and I'm a consultant to the Housing Authority and to the city on the 100 plan. So long story short, there was a one-time mayor of Las Vegas who by default became mayor for a very short period of time and then disappeared shortly thereafter to California. And there was some stuff that happened behind the scenes we don't exactly know about. But his son went on to be a leader in the community and do a variety of things. And when this development came together, somehow he was involved with the naming of it, and he named it after his father. Marble. Yeah. Yeah. We can get you the full history,
Yes,
but
let's
that's the
do
summary of it. It's kind of, there's a lot of detail to it that was fairly interesting, but happy to share that with you.
Yes. I
Thank
believe
you
there
so
was
much.
shenanigans and tomfoolery involved, but
Yes,
we
there
will get
was.
the story to you.
Yes, there was.
Anybody else? Yes, Senator.
Senator Bryan, Clady, putting you on due notice that I'm filing an action to prevent you from retiring. We are not going to allow that. So, just fair notice, when the process server comes, you'll know it's my lawsuit. All right? Clady, we know of your fine work, and this is a fine presentation. I saw an entry there, gas station or something?
Yes,
What
Gas
and
Station
who are they?
Studios.
Maybe
Yes.
other people know, but.
Gas Station Studios is have two arms. Their for-profit arm is a production studio. They do music videos and films and other kinds of things. Their not-for-profit arm works with the community to train young at-risk youth to do this kind of work. And so Gas Station Studios is the entity that will film, edit, and produce the documentary as a result of this, and they will bring in young folks from the community to teach them some skills and give them some on-the-job training internships so that they can learn the skills to do this work as well.
Have they done any work in Nevada, do we know?
Absolutely. They do quite a bit of work for us at...
Again, I don't know anything about them, so I'm not being pejorative. I'm just trying to inquire. And the work product that they do is...
Phenomenal.
Is good?
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Thank you.
I will now entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Okay.
Commissioner Brown, I move for approval.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you all so much for that presentation. Agenda item number 10, 25-0412-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $176,200 by Gold Creek Films for the production of a documentary film focused on the 1905 Las Vegas land auction and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. Yes, would you please state your name for the record?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Ted Fay, and good afternoon, Commission.
Good afternoon.
It's exciting to be here in front of you. I have been looking forward to this day. It was several months ago when I went to lunch with an associate of Clay T's as we were doing an oral history on one of the early businessmen of this city. And she said, you know, with your filmmaking background and your love of Nevada history, you should really meet this commission because they support history projects. And I thought, well, I'd like to come here and present a project, and that's why I'm here. This project is a passion of mine because to bring to life that day, that one singular day in 1905, when there was a land auction held to birth a city. What would it be like to actually spend an entire film on that one day, immersing ourselves in the voices and the people who were there, and also hearing from the people who may have been excluded, who maybe weren't there so much, but maybe were watching from the side, or maybe saying, hey, that's used to be our land. What was that day like? And I really began to think about that, and I thought, you know, that's a story to tell. Because in all the stories I've heard of Las Vegas, the films, and you guys have funded a wonderful series. And I thought this would be a great augmentation to those stories, to what's been done, to actually take a deep dive into May 15th, 1905. So as we move along here, I want to get into perhaps the first question. And do I have to do something to do this? Do I have oh gosh, I have a clicker, sorry. Well, here we go. All right. There we go. Oh, we have a little, and so we want to use, one of the reasons why I chose this just simple image at the beginning is we want to use the element of the desert, the beauty of the desert, as the setting for this film. All right, okay. So May 15th, 1905 was obviously, to those of us that know the story, is when this auction was held. But why does it matter? And this is the question I always ask myself whenever I undertake any project. And I've done a lot of projects in Nevada on history and the stories here. But you'll always have to ask yourself, why does it matter? Who cares? And it's the most brutal question any filmmaker or anybody has to ask themselves about the project that they love. But there are some answers here. For example, this day was the foundation of what you might call America's most improbable city. Like, why is it here? And this story, this day, answers a lot of that question. People came because they knew they could have opportunity if they came and maybe bought some property here. It's about resilience, coming to a place that other people would think was really hostile to build a city environmentally, but coming here, and people came from all over. And also, I always like to look for the national significance. And Las Vegas is a symbol, in a way, of the American dream. I mean, there are so many opportunities. People come here to experience a lot of things we know, but there is that sense that Las Vegas has opportunity for people and can provide and can be a city of dreams for folks. Now, the difference, what's different about our film? How is it that we want to tell it? We want to use firsthand accounts. We want to actually hear from the voices of people who were here, or who were planning to come here or who had been here. But we want to hear firsthand accounts. And we want these stories to be inclusive, obviously. There were African Americans who were here that had owned land even before this auction took place, the Asian American population, and of course the Native American perspective. And the film is rooted in what I call atmospheric visuals. In other words, you may see a corner of the platform that looks like the auction platform, not a recreation, not a reenactment, but a visual that gives you a sense of what it might have looked like, let's say today, if you were able to walk through that auction site. The film has 3 acts. We want to set it up. What was happening before this auction took place, right? Who were the people here? Of course, J.T. McWilliams is a significant character. But we want to set it up, the dreams, the conflict that happened even before the auction took place, the power brokers, the railroad, the fight for water. Act 2 is auction day. And I would say that in a 56-minute film, which is what this is a 56-minute film. You want to maybe take 10 minutes, 8 minutes at the beginning, and this Act 2 is almost all of the film. I would say that the half hour or 40 minutes and then 8 minutes at the end for what happened next. But this Act 2 is the core of the story, the people that were here. Act 3 gets into what's here today, what came out of it, who are the descendants. And we do want to find descendants. So let me just read, I just want to encapsulate the synopsis. That we call this a 56-minute documentary film which brings the 1905 Las Vegas land auction to life through the recorded words and written memories and family oral histories of those who experienced it. Voices of early settlers, workers, and descendants are interwoven with historian commentary to reveal the layered human story of the city's beginnings. And one of the ways it began was there was an ad in a newspaper. So they would put ads in newspapers. In May 1905, Clark put ads in the Los Angeles Times and the Salt Lake City paper. And here you have an example of one of the ads that was actually in the LA Times. And in Los Angeles in 1905, in May, there was a guy by the name of Ed Von Tobel, and he was working in a lumber yard at Ganal Lumber Yard in LA. And he came home and he saw this ad. And he said, hey, I'm going to get my friend Jake Beckley. Jake Beckley is working at the Hotel Green in Pasadena in the restaurant. And you know that the Hotel Green today is now Castle Green, and it still exists in Pasadena, which we would love to have as one of our locations, because while our story is about Las Vegas, it's great to tie in other places and say, this place was here. He gets his friend Jake Beckley, and they get their $22 ticket to come to this dusty town or whatever it was going to be in Las Vegas so they could come to the land auction. And they get here. He skips work. Ed skips work. So does Jake. And they get here, and everything's too expensive. They can't afford to buy anything the day of the auction, so they stay the next day, and they scraped up $3 to put a down payment on a lot in this new place called Las Vegas. And they go back to Los Angeles to put together their goods, because they're going to start a lumber yard. When Ed gets back to Las Vegas, his boss says, I saw you at that auction. Or when Ed gets back to Los Angeles, his boss says, I saw you at that auction in Las Vegas. He said, I was there, I saw you. And you skipped work. You're fired. Well, for the rest of the story, you're going to have to see the film. But these are the stories that we want to tell. And the approach that we want to take is using archival photographs, maps, artifacts, ephemera, the period-inspired visuals where, like I say, we might have a tent in the background or stakes or The mesquite tree, which is just everybody talks about the mesquite tree because it was the only thing that provided shade over that platform. The interwoven voices, historians, descendants, and we want to produce this to PBS standards. My partner here, TJ Penton here, is an extraordinary cinematographer, has produced work that's gone to Cannes. I have, sorry, I'm a slide behind here. I have assembled an incredible team of scholars and contributors to this project. Michael Green, he wanted to be here today, but of course he's busy running a history department. Mark Hall-Patton, Mark did make it today, and Mark and I have been working on a number of projects together. I've even talked to Bob Stoddall about the project. Mark Padunkat is Asian American Studies and has agreed to come on board. I've been talking with Clay T, and Clay T is a good partner in this history. And in my research, I came across an article by Stan Pear, and I've known Stan for years. And I called Stan and I said, I want to do this documentary on Las Vegas. Would you help me? And he said yes. So,
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I gotta just interrupt.
Yeah.
With your permission, just tell him, I'm glad Stan's alive because I can't find him. So well, you tell him.
Absolutely.
Well,
No.
he needs to be part of this.
Yeah, he's going to be, Mark, he's going to be here October 29th, right? At the Henderson. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, perfectly all right. Please make sure that the commissioner gets contact information.
Absolutely. And of course, we have a lot of sources, and Clay T is going to be so helpful with the oral history program, and all of these, the papers, the research. I have an incredible researcher on board. His name's Tim France. I've worked with Tim for years. He uncovers things that I didn't even know could be uncovered. There are articles by Florence Lee Jones. We've uncovered her work, and of course Stan Pear and these good books and folks that have written about this history. One other point, I want to make sure that we understand that the film is not just a film for its own sake. I consider it a historical document. We really want to uncover stories that haven't really been told on film, and it will really be an educational resource. All right, so how does the budget work? We budgeted our total budget at about $215,200. The funding model, we are really blessed to have executive producer Telly Eliadis. Telly I've known for a number of years, and Telly loves history, and Telly is kind of acting like a guarantor in this situation, where if we spend X amount of dollars per month, and we've sort of figured out maybe $25,000 per month, something like that, as it's a reimbursement situation, he could help us funding so that we could operate and then get reimbursed. So he's functioning as an executive producer role. Gold Creek Films and contributions for in-kind by our scholars and others has totaled about $39,000. So our grant request is $176,200. At the end of the day, we will have a PBS broadcast quality film, a 56-minute piece, have found new archival contributions to Las Vegas's history, had screenings. We know that there's opportunities for multiple screenings to get the community involved, and hopefully, I really would like to have a national reach on this, because I think it's a surprising story for people. I don't think people would think that this is how Las Vegas came about. So thank you very much. I'm so glad to have Mark here, and TJ and Clay T. They're a part of the team, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Fay. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this agenda item? Seeing nobody, I'll open it up to the commissioners for any comments or questions.
Chair, this is Bob Stoddall.
Yes, Bob?
Having been supporting many documentaries funding through the Centennial Commission, I'm opposed to this particular documentary. It goes all over the world, all over. There's so many topics in here. It misses the fundamental filling that we need for the history of Las Vegas. The history of Las Vegas, that site, starts in the fall of 1904. In the fall of 1904, the railroad had reached Las Vegas, and you could get a ride to Salt Lake City and whatever. But it was in the fall of 1904 that Senator Clark came to Las Vegas for the first time, and there were several places where the city could, or the town could be built. He selected a site about 1 mile south of the Las Vegas Ranch on a plateau. That's where the city and the town began. During the latter part of 1904, arguments between the Union Pacific Railroad, which owned half, and Senator Clark and his side on the other half. Senator Clark wanted the new community, the new town, to become a community and wanted certain rules and regulations. The Union Pacific said, no, wide open town, we don't need that. Let them do whatever they want. They had arguments, discussions, and those documents are available at UNLV Special Collection. And just to deviate for a second, those documents are there because of a member of the Centennial Commission, Bob Coffin, who rescued those documents, and they're now in special collections at UNLV. The line continues to 1905, the beginning of 1905, where the railroad begins moving things to its town site, including a railroad depot, including Western Union, including the post office, including a store, including a restaurant. There were 3 hotels that would be in operation before the May 15th auction. There would also be 3 newspapers that were publishing in Las Vegas. The line is still where the town of Las Vegas would be built. The battle between Union Pacific and Senator Clark over whether it would be an auction. Initially, Senator Clark won because he wanted to choose the people that would build a community. It didn't quite work out that way. There were too many people applying for the lots, and about 3 weeks before the deadline, it turned out that there was an auction. That's the way they went. There's a lot of stories that need to be told, but the straight line is the town of Las Vegas, and that ends up with May 15th, and within days you see the town forming. The Block 16, where alcohol was allowed to be sold, and importantly, the district on First and Fremont Street. That was the beginning of the business district of Las Vegas. On one corner you had a pharmacy and hospital. On the other side you had the bank. On the other side you had a department store, and of course in those days they carried everything. On the other corner was grocery stores and the meat market. That's the story that needs to be told, and we need the straight line from 1905, fall of 1905, all the way to the fall of 1904, all the way to the fall of 1905, when a school was built in Las Vegas. This proposed documentary goes all over the place. And again, I want to say, though, it's not anything about the documentary producers. They've got a strong background. It's just the focus of this documentary needs to be on the development of the city, or the town and the city of Las Vegas. And so I'm going to make a motion that we deny this grant at this time.
May I respond?
Yes, you may. Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you. Bob, thank you for that. Thank you for that commentary. And I want you to know, and I want the commission to know, that this is a progress in motion. I do not by any means claim to know all about Las Vegas history at all, nor do I claim to have the have anything close to it or have studied it. What I'm proposing here is a framework in which to tell that story in a compelling way. And Bob, if we can sharpen the focus, if we can bring it into that kind of alignment that you're talking about, I am completely open to that. Within our budget is not just the production, but actually the consulting, the formation. I'm simply saying and that this could be a really kind of compelling framework in which to present this story through the voices of the people that were there. I didn't look at it as sort of a comprehensive history, but that this would be a singular approach to this day. And any of the framework we can put around it that would sharpen the focus, I am really open to that.
Thank you
Chair,
so
I
much.
would suggest, I'm sorry, Chair, I would suggest that,
See where people are. Yeah, I'm not ready. I like it. Ryan, did you have a question or a
I
comment?
do, Mayor. Thank you. Ryan Arnold for the record. Bob, would you be open to just obeying this and letting some conversations occur? And then if we all can make sense of it, come back and present again?
Commission, what I would be in favor of, because the people that are making this presentation have a solid background in the history of Las Vegas. What I would prefer was denying this particular outline and having them come back with a fresher approach. You know, I look at Act 3 and it says the foundation of a city takes hold, a voice warns, prosperity has its shadows. Patricia Nelson Limerick ties the story to a national theme. Boomtown often, so it goes. There's just so much in this proposed project that takes away from the actual significance and development of the town. I'd rather hear about downtown Las Vegas, the creation of that, and the people that did that ran the bank, that created the drugstore and the hospital in 1905. So what I would prefer is that we deny this, but without prejudice, and let them come back with a new presentation.
Wait, we already have a motion on the, we have a motion on the table. Let's have discussion, and then we can vote on Bob's motion.
You got it.
Yes, Olivia.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to ask our legal counsel, if we deny the item versus withdrawing without prejudice, I'm pretty clear when we do it on council, when we deny, we kind of give it a cooling off period, and they can't bring the same subject item back before us, but I'm not sure if it's the same sitting on this board. So wanted to know the difference between moving to deny versus withdrawing without prejudice.
So, Madam Chair, Seth Floyd for the record. So, unlike council, there's no official cooling off period. So, in theory, they could bring it back at the very next meeting if they could get their materials in on time. So really, there are basically two ways to accomplish the same thing. The difference is if you deny it, it will be an entirely new submittal. So they will resubmit a new grant application. Whereas an abeyance would be, they could revise as long as, I think really we'd let them do any revision they wanted to, and they could revise it under the current application. So that's really the difference between those two options. But there's no cooling off period required, so there's no timing issue if you were to deny it.
Okay. Senator, did you have a question?
Well, one way to address this, we could amend Bob's motion.
And instead of deny it, obey it till the next meeting. Yeah. Does anybody on this side of yes?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just think that you have a solid project You have a concept. You've built a fabulous team to build this. Sounds like you need to fine tune a couple things that may meet the needs of the commission, and possibly you need 30 days or 60 days to get that together and then come back. If that's the case, then I'd be in favor of an abeyance versus denying it. Then you'd have to start all over from ground zero, and you've put a lot of work into it so far. So it'd be great if we could, at least first opportunity would be to give you an opportunity to go back, make some corrections, and then come back and represent again.
Yes.
And that would be an abeyance of either 30 days or 60 days that I would be in favor of, not a full denial.
I don't think we have to wait that
Chair?
long. Well, wait a minute, Bob. Would you be amenable to an abeyance?
I would be.
All right.
Well, I quite frankly, I'm confused because in the past, abeyance simply means that you're putting the project off to the next meeting without substantial changes. We obeyed the parade, but there was a second one for 2 years. So I'm a bit confused. I thought abeyance simply means you carry it over to the next meeting as is.
No,
If that's
that
the
is
case,
not. That is not my understanding.
So Madam Chair, well, everybody's right here, so that's
Yeah,
a
right,
win.
exactly.
Like everybody's right. So it depends. If the project were to change so much that it is essentially a new submittal, then what Diane would do as staff is have them submit a new item. So I think the splitting the baby, so to speak, would be you could obey it for time to work on what that new proposal might look like. If it turns out that it is, as Bob suggested, entirely new, it is so substantially changed that it no longer looks like the original item, we would then have them submit a new one that could replace this one on a future agenda.
I'm very excited about this project. If it needs fine tuning, I have no problem waiting until the next meeting to hear the presentation again with the fine tuning. Bob, would you amend your motion to be an abeyance as opposed to a denial?
the answer starts with yes, but with a question to Seth. It seems to me that the definition of an abeyance is the project, whatever it is simply carried over, obeyed to the next meeting. But if there is some substantial changes, like the parade where we went from 3 to 2 years, there would have to be a new submittal at the earliest convenience at the next meeting. Is that right, Seth?
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you. So that's accurate. The reason why this is a little different than the 2-year one is the way that your agenda item reads on this one is broader. It says discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant for production of a documentary film focused on the 1905 Las Vegas land auction. So as long as that is still the focus, with some tweaks, you could still have that heard under an abeyance. If it changed to where it was no longer a film focused on the 1905 Las Vegas land auction and it morphed somehow, you'd have a notice issue and then you'd have to have a new application. So that's something Diane will have to work through with the applicant as those changes occur.
But to respond to the chair's question, yes, I would amend my motion to obey.
Okay, so your motion is that you are moving to obey this item until the next meeting of the Centennial Commission, where we will reconsider the request for $176,200.
That's correct.
All
I'll
right.
second that motion. Senator Bryan seconded.
Thank you. All those in favor of Bob Stoddard's amended motion, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion is carried.
Your
Thank
Honor.
you so much. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
I definitely have a conversation with Bob.
I will
Okay.
be, Bob, I will be calling you tomorrow or today.
Your Honor,
Excuse me.
Well, you're going to have to
Excuse
call
me.
me at the
it's closed now.
at the hospital. I return home next week.
Okay,
Excuse me.
all right, we'll
And
talk.
that
I
abeyance will
became
be,
aware of some of the red tape we've created, and I just wanted to make sure we don't set up a trap for ourselves or Diane, because I know that things happen. They just accidentally happen, like on the old timers dinner. Well, it was changed a little bit, then they submitted, but they didn't submit in time, so they kind of didn't have time to do it, so they canceled. And I want to worry that, I'm just saying that we make sure that no last minute red tape comes in and,
And there wasn't that, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that they decided not to do that, the old timers dinner. That's my own opinion.
well, me too, but that was.
Chair,
part of the
No.
just to close this out,
Yes.
I give you my word that I will work aggressively with the grant applicants to come up with something that the commission will be proud of. But I'll work very hard with them. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bob. I
But
look
make sure,
forward to it.
Mr. Stoddle, make sure you take care of yourself too, though.
Excuse me, and that abeyance will be to the meeting of November 24th.
Thank you. So you have until November 24th. And frankly, this is such a great topic, and it needs to be in a documentary. So let's do everything we can and eliminate red tape to ensure that we have a successful project. All right, agenda item. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Fay. Agenda item 11, 25-0413-CLC1. Discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $213,600 by the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Committee for the production and running of the 2026-2027 Dr. Martin Luther King parades and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. Welcome, and can you please state your name for the record?
Wendell P. Williams.
My name is Shondell Newsom, co-chair with Mr. Wendell P. Williams with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Committee. I'm truly honored to be here today with the founder, the former assemblyman, the GOAT, we call him, Mr. Wendell P. Williams. One of the things that I want to share with you guys is that, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. parade will be in 2026 and 27. This will be the 44th and 45th parade in downtown Las Vegas. So consecutively, with no interruptions, even during our time when we had the pandemic, we did a virtual parade. So we are very proud of the fact that the work of the committee over the last 4 decades has been extensive and done a great job. In fact, I moved to Las Vegas in 1987. By way of the United States Air Force. I met Mr. Wendell P. Williams when I was volunteering for the school district, and he graciously allowed me to go on the radio with him and talk and do all of that, which I still have a relationship with KCP for that reason. There's so many reasons and ways that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Connects with Las Vegas history. Not only, and we'll talk a little bit about that, I'm going to go through the slide presentation, but my family has been actively involved for over a couple of decades, even though I'm only 20 years old. All right. So remember, so Dr. King, the national enduring theme is Remember, Celebrate, Act. And this is very important because we remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but many other things that he has done. We would be here for hours if we talked about the many contributions that not only he made around the world, but in the city of Las Vegas, not just by his visit or him coming, but the people that have been impacted, including myself. I was born the year that Dr. King was assassinated, so many of the things that he's done, and you'll see how the connection has made me committed to service, which is very important. We celebrate the culture and inclusion of Dr. King that not only he created around the world, but what he created in Las Vegas. And then advancing the dream is the most important part. This is not a day off. This is a day on. When we talk about Dr. King, we're not there to really barbecue and do all of that. We're there to show how we serve the community. And you'll see that when we've done this parade, it was about many of the organizations who serve the Las Vegas community. So here's the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Like I said, we'll be celebrating 44 and 45 years. As you can see, we made it, basically had started. And Wendell gave me a lot of this history, so yes, I'm just giving it to you guys, right? 6 Las Vegas mayors, Mayor Lurie and Mayor Breyer are not pictured, but you see the Honorable Mayor Shelley Berkeley is there, along with Goodmans and one of the people that I really adore, Jan Laverty Jones. So it has a great history already running with, and then of course you see our governor Bryant signing the law in 1987 that made the state holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Along with Assemblyman Williams here, and then you see that. Many of you alluded to this, that the parade was down Fremont Street. So you see that we have captured a little bit of that history. We're also going to be doing some amazing things with the new library that's going to be on the historic West Side, thanks to the work of the City Council, thanks to the work of Councilman Creer, that we're going to be presenting some of these artifacts. My fellow co-chair, the hoarder, has a lot of things that he calls himself that, I'm sorry. But he has a lot of information that we're going to be putting in the new library, and we've already talked to the director and folks there about putting a lot of the information, not only from the parade, but the history of Las Vegas and Nevada. So here's a little bit about Mr. Wendell P. Williams. He was actively engaged with the late widow of Dr. King. And one of the things that's real important that we understand that today he's still working with the family and bringing a lot of folks to Las Vegas. Right now he's working with Bernice King, the daughter of Dr. King, and Mrs. King. One of the things that is important is that we continue to bring and engage the family here in Las Vegas. And we recently, and you'll see in the future slides how we're engaged, that young lady who is standing next to Mr. Wendell P. Williams in the middle is my wife. She played Rosa Parks in the parade one time. So my wife is a Las Vegas native. The places you mentioned, Marble Manor. She grew up in Marble Manor, and then later on moved over to another neighborhood. But she grew up in Las Vegas, and it was an honor for her to play Rosa Parks. And I think she took the most selfies ever at the parade, which was amazing. And also, you see how we connected with the Super Bowl. I was on the Las Vegas Super Bowl host committee. We really engaged and had the Super Bowl there. We had the Raiders there. We had a lot of people from the Super Bowl host committee, my fellow co-chair from MGM Resorts, Tony Gladney. So you see there's a connectivity that happens at this parade with over close to 240 entrants. We have a lot of people who are part of the history of the parade. You also see Sandra Douglas, who was one of the recipients of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship, and also a person that Mr. Wendell P. had mentored. You also see Congressman Stephen Horsford, who was also a recipient of some of the funds from the committee, as well as you see Alex Dixon and Vanessa Bryant. You see Ken Evans, who was one of the folks former president of the Urban Chamber, who was actively engaged with the youth committee. And you see Neo, world-renowned not only recording artist but producer, who is really what was part of the youth committee and you see you see Commissioner McCurdy. You see Commissioner Weekly, who was done many things with the commission, was a Clark County commissioner, but also on the LVCVA board, and he's still active with the committee. And then you see this young guy here, Shondell Newsom, who I love participating with the Tech Queen. Dewana Malone, just so you guys know, just for a brief history to understand, Dewana, very, very active in the community, but she does an event at City Hall every year called the Tech Summit, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Tech Summit. And she's teaching young people to do cybersecurity. Which is, again, along the guise of what Dr. King does, is he always talked about the education and also remember that in 1963, the march was about jobs and freedom, and it was about really high-paying jobs, which is the same thing we're talking about today. She actually now has a contract with the U.S. Department of Commerce, and she is and this all evolved from doing some of these things like the Tech Summit, where she's teaching nationally in almost every state the young people how to do cybersecurity and IT operations and things like that. So you got a lot of history, and not only that, but a lot of folks who have come out of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Committee and as youth who are now really making a lot of things happen in the community. So our value proposition, one of the things that I always think about is what is the value to you guys? We want to preserve and celebrate the history of the people and the history of the city of Las Vegas. We want to position Las Vegas as a global destination for visitors. You'll see in a minute that that's already happening when it comes to downtown. We want to educate residents and visitors on the history. We want to advertise Las Vegas as a place to experience the history and the global contributions on the civil and human rights. And I think the big thing is really how does that all tie back to things historically and economically? We want to connect the state of Nevada, United States, and international visitors to downtown Las Vegas. I did that on purpose because we have people who come to the parade from all over the state. We have people who come from the United States and internationally. Vanessa Williams Vanessa Williams Nash is actually an executive director for the International World Conference of Mayors. 32,000 is part of that. So we have a lot of folks already coming. We want to continue the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Committee, the legacy of the parade. We want to remember the works of Dr. King that led to the historic Las Vegas events. Not necessarily this Moulin Rouge agreement. That was kind of a AI snafu, if you will. The Moulin Rouge Agreement came in 1960 before Dr. King came in 1964. But also to celebrate the King culture, including Greek HBCUs, Las Vegas relationships like Dr. Barb Bailey, Ruby Duncan, Ida Gaines, and the King Committee, founder Wendell P. Williams, amongst others. We want to activate the day on and not a day off with local organizations to act in service to others in Las Vegas. We just did that this year with the United Way of Southern Nevada and many other nonprofits that have engaged in the day on and not a day off. Currently, with very much local promotions, local events, and local focus, we still get visitors all around this country, which is amazing. We have people who have decided to join our celebration and leave their city, including the Arkansas Commission for the MLK. They've partnered with us this year. Many others have come from Louisiana, from Georgia, from places like New York, and even some folks from Canada have come down. So we could probably help restore some of the Canadian visitation. We can help out with that. Right. So as you see with the branding, we a couple of years ago had decided to brand Las Vegas as King Week Las Vegas. We say every week is King Week. So we have been really focused on the branding and development of the brand over the last couple of years. So what do we see in the future? We see that this is not only a national brand, but is definitely an international brand because Dr. King is celebrated in more countries than many presidents, many historical figures. He's celebrated all over the world because of his work globally. So we want to tap in on that. We also look at the opportunity and the King effect with some of the HBCUs. There are many. He's tied to a network of historical Black college universities. Many people have attended and part of the parade. We also look at the different fraternities and sororities, which are parts of the National Panhellenic Council, or the Divine Nine, as they're called. This parade this year, we put them all together, and it was an amazing look, especially for young people in our community, looking at all of these Black professionals walking down the parade and seeing what they could be. When I was on the board of the 100 Black Men, we said what they see is what they'll be, and that's what we look at. It's a walking historical story when you look at the parade as we go along. So one of the things that I always got to do, because I'm a marketing guy, right? I got to talk about the economic impact. When you look at the people that come in and you look at Black tourism and meetings, it really can be huge, especially for downtown, especially for some of the hotels there. I spoke with folks at Boyd, spoke to Yuri Clinton, who is also a product of he's won a legal counsel for Boyd Gaming. He's also a product of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Committee. So it really is working and paying it forward thanks to this man right here. And then, when you look at the economic impact that is even a potential to the city of Las Vegas, we see great opportunities there. So we market. We want to talk, demographics. Like I said, there's some great, amazing people that we market to, and they all come and merge onto downtown Las Vegas. We talk about a word called edutainment. So those that are the education experts out here, please don't beat me up. I know my mom's like, where you make that word up? But that's like learning and having fun. We party with a purpose. We walk away with a cultural experience that's unique to Las Vegas. And we engage in a very historic parade. So the strategy is to utilize the national MLK focus of Remember, Celebrate, Act to create an experience in Las Vegas annually. And we invite National King affiliated organizations through our relationships. And and objectives is to continue an annual event, create loyal visitors to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Parade, establish a cultural kickoff for Las Vegas every year, and branding the King Week Las Vegas experience, which includes a lot of other events, but I'm gonna stick to the parade. In social media, we utilize all of these different networks. We also have a lot of promotions and grassroots marketing, advertising, social media, internet marketing, and a lot of public relations. I'm going. Merchandising. We also have a lot of media, good media coverage there. And then the parade ignites the city of Las Vegas with Remember, Celebrate, Act. I'm going to go through because I know y'all want to. All right, so.
Thank you so much for that very comprehensive presentation. Does anybody have, first of all, I love the parade. I love the whole week. It's just spectacular. Thank you very much for doing this. It's amazing. However, why don't we open it up to any Q&A? Members of the commission, would anybody like to comment? Hannah.
I just want to share that when I was hired by Western Airlines, I had to go to 3 weeks of training school in Los Angeles. And the morning that I was packing my clothes to come home was the morning that Martin Luther King was killed. And the first day I started to work, April 8th, is the day that he had his funeral.
Oh, golly.
Yeah, so it's
I think
very
everybody
meaningful.
knows where they were when we heard the tragedy. Yes, go ahead.
Mills, for the record, Senator Bryan mentioned that it took him 3 legislative sessions to get this done. And I grew up here, born and raised, and this was an extremely segregated city. I'm wondering if Dr. King actually spent time here organizing or doing anything, and if so, when did he do that? And do we have any documentation, pictures?
Yes, actually, if I could, I don't know how to pull this back up, but actually I skipped those couple of slides for sake of time. But he was here in 1964, correct? 1964, and Dr. King was here for NAACP luncheon, and as well as visiting Second Baptist Church, and he came to really unite the city. He came with the intent to make sure that we were working in peace and following, you know, what he wanted to do was really get rid of the stigma of Mississippi of the West.
Yeah.
So that was his plan. The other thing, Ralph Abernathy, his associate, later came and talked and really helped out Ruby Duncan with the efforts that Clay T. White talked about. So he's had that residual impact on the city.
Would anybody else like to comment? Yes.
Senak, for the record, I'm just curious, you had the parade several years. Why now you come to us for support? And I'm not against it. I'm just saying, what happened? What changed on your backing?
I think, you know, Wendell is a person that doesn't ask for a lot. I was telling him, hey, you know, we need to ask. And then actually, Councilman Creer one day said, why you guys don't ever come to the commission for any dollars? We do have a lot of great supporters that, whether it's the hotel and casinos, small businesses and that, but it was actually, I think one day I had a conversation with Councilman Creer, and he said, you need to look at this as an opportunity.
Anybody else? I will entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Who was that? Oh, okay, Cedric. All those in favor, all right, the motion is that the commission will grant the request for $213,600 by the MLK Junior Committee for the running and production of the 2026 parade and 2027 parade. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? In that case, congratulations, thank you. Did you want to say something, Wendell?
I just probably would be remiss and pretentious not to mention that when I was a freshman in the legislature, was a year that we passed the MLK holiday and Family Day, by the way. So, and that was under the direction of the very capable and my heroes, Governor Bryan. They call him Senator, I call him Governor still. And along with that, Senator Senator Coffin at the time, he was a co-sponsor on the legislation. Ms. Brown has been one of our grand marshals, as well as Mr. Creer, and we have a long history of doing this. And one of the things that has happened, I too want to go on record that I like Fremont Street the best. You know, because we've had it in West Las Vegas one year, we've had it on 4th Street, Las Vegas Boulevard, and Fremont. And I look at all the pictures and all the documentation and films we have. Fremont Street is the most exciting, and you know you're in Las Vegas when you do a parade on Fremont Street. So
Well,
we want to go on
Wendell,
the record supporting that effort.
It's a great parade. I look forward to it every year. Last year was a little windy, but that's okay. People still came out for it, and it's quite a thrill to be in the parade. So thank you so much. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, you may.
Brian, I remember the first parade. As governor, I declared it a holiday by state law. Tried to get them to recognize it as an official holiday by legislative enactment. Failed in '83, failed in '85. We finally got it on. I gave up the ability to have 2 state holidays to a point 2 for only one, and we got it on. But there were a lot of people involved, and let's not forget our old friend Joe Neal. He was very helpful to the state.
And the thing about it, Governor, we passed it before the national holiday. Thank you.
Pretty fabulous. Thank you so much. Agenda item 12. 25-0437-CLC1, report by the Community Development Department regarding commission for the Las Vegas Centennial multi-year grants.
Thank you, Seabrant, for the record. And this has already been mentioned a few times. We're missing Councilman Creer, who also mentioned this earlier about grants. This commission, originally it was a 1-year grant, was all that was allowed. There was a discussion about 3, 4, 5 years ago, I don't remember now, about multi-year grants, where the commission was in favor of 2 to 3 year grants. But recently, it seems to come back that perhaps the commission is not in favor of 3-year grants. So just for our purposes, and when we speak to the applicants, we have to guide them and advise them if they ask how many years can I apply for. So just would like to have feedback of what this commission would like to see as far as funding grants for multiple years.
Senator Bryan, would you like to start the conversation?
I just don't favor a 3-year grant. I want an opportunity to take a look how it's performed. Now, there's nothing that would prohibit after 1 year for the commission to decide, I think that's a program we want to continue and to extend it for a period of time. In other words, 1 more year, 2 more years at that point. So that's just my own particular hang up on this, Diane. I just don't like to see 3 years.
The issue with that, though, is once they've submitted a proposal and then rewrite the grant agreement, it does specifically say in there the end date and the amount. So if you had somebody here with a 1-year grant and you decided that you liked their programming and you wanted to ask them for the next time if they wanted to do a 2-year grant, they would have to do an entirely new proposal.
Chair, this is
Bob.
Bill Lowe.
Yes, Bob.
Quite frankly, I would vote for going back to the 1-year process. It does not mean that the applicant can come back on the second year, the third year, or the fourth year. But things are changing so much in our community, and projects change, and staffing changes, and so forth. I think we should go back to the 1 year proposal, and doesn't mean that they can't come back for a second year and a third year, but it provides the Centennial Commission with a real sense of how the project is going if we do it year by year. Thank you.
Does anybody else have, yes, Cedric?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As I mentioned earlier, I was maybe the most vocal on trying to find ways to work with our partners that we work with on a consistent basis, not those that are new, like the gentleman who's presenting his documentary has not come in front of the commission before. We do not know him, but for those that we have worked with over the course of years, it allows us to support them, and it allows them to plan, which is important. So if you know you're going to get a grant for the next 2 years or 3 years, you can plan on what you're going to do instead of not knowing if you're going to get the grant or not, and then you have to apply for the grant, potentially get it, then start your planning. It makes it a lot tougher. I understand the concern of us being good fiduciaries of the dollars. Maybe there's a compromise. You can always say that you can put in a 2 year or 3 year, maybe as a holistic view of the commission, to say if we do a 2 year or 3 year contract, you can always do 1 year automatic renewals if there's no issues. And so if it can be reviewed administratively, they can come and present to us. As long as there's no malfeasance and there's no major issues, then it'll automatically renew for up to 2 years or up to 3 years. And then maybe that's a compromise that we have from the commission to the applicant.
So is staff asking for guidance whether collectively the commission is in favor of a 3-year proposal or 2-year proposals? And if that's the case, I would entertain a motion to approve a 2-year approval process.
I'd like to second that. I'd like to make that motion.
It's not it's just a report.
It's a report.
There's
So,
no
all right,
motion.
so you're looking for guidance. I would say just feel the sentiment of the commission is not to do 3 years. 2 years, 1 year might be too short. So I would say if you're asking for guidance, it appears to me that 2 years would be the optimum amount. Does anybody?
Chair, there's one question that needs to be answered, and that's the question is, can you carry money over from 1 year to the second year, or is each of the years has a specified grant? So the bottom line is, can you carry money over from 1 year to 2 years? And that was one of the problems with the 3-year request.
So, Sebring, for the record, when the commission approves a grant proposal, it's the end amount that's in that grant agreement that is approved. We have been letting some of the organizations that not have used all their funding in the first year to roll it over into the second year, since the commission did not vote on approving X amount of dollars for 1 year and X amount of dollars for another year.
It's
But
over a
we
2-year
can,
period.
we can certainly make it a practice that will just hold them to just that money for the first year.
Okay, so this is.
Thank you.
Okay, so this item is informational item only, and so you're asking for guidance. Olivia, before we close, did you want to say something?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to also give the input that if it's a known commodity and we've worked with that entity, I would represent that this board would consider up to a 2-year proposal. I would hope that you're not just going to say, yeah, they're going to give you 2 years. And obviously couch it and they may give you up to 2 years if they're a known commodity, because we have a lot of folks that have done documentaries. They're known to us. Like Duck Duck Shed, we heard the results of their our Eldorado Parade. So just wanted to kind of keep that. And if they're brand new, I would stick to just whatever their proposal is. and not even tell them for an extended period of time until they've proven their worth in our investment, if that makes sense. Because I don't want anyone who hasn't done any work for us to think that they
Automatically get
can
to you.
pitch it and get more than one if we don't even know what that initial rendering or activity or whatever the case may be is. So I just kind of wanted to make that clear.
Okay, let me clarify this
Yeah.
then. Sorry, Seabrook, for the record. This is not saying that everybody comes in, gets 2 years. It's only for a project that runs for multiple years, such as a parade, such as, the lecture series of Duck Duck Shed. But this wouldn't be if somebody was coming to us for just one documentary. We wouldn't automatically give them 2 years. So it's only for projects that the commission or the applicant is saying, well, we're doing the parade this year. We also want to do it next year.
But I guess the thing is making sure that it's something that we've felt comfortable enough funding. Today, for example, the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade is new. Not new to the
MLK?
commission funding it, right? And so then also, I think that we need to be clear as to what they said they were going to use the funds for, and if they came back and they demonstrated that the funds were used to accomplish the goal that furthers the mission of this commission. And so we need to have that accountability piece in place, and if we just start just giving the money out without expecting results and accountability, I think we're going to lose the mission of the commission. And so I just want to make sure that if, let's say there's now going to be, I'm just making this up, who was one of the, Bob Stoddall, why am I having, one of the first Spaniards that came through Vegas, I don't know, Rafael Rivera. Let's say we're going to have a Rafael Rivera parade now, and someone comes and presents a Rafael Rivera parade that hasn't traditionally been done. Are we going to go out there and give them funding for 2 years without even having seen what
No,
that
of
one?
course not.
So that's why I'm just saying.
I don't
let's just
think
make
that,
sure.
unless I'm mistaken, they're not saying this is, they just need a little guidance so that it, because I think at one time I was told the commission was encouraging 3 years. And then the commission kind of changed its mind and said, maybe 3 years is too long. We need to have some oversight. So I think staff is just asking, give us a little guidance. If you don't like the 3 years, we won't do 3 years. If you think the 2 years, if it's proven and they've been before us before and we know what they do and what they're capable of, then we can go up to 2 years. And I think, unless I'm mistaken, is that what staff is asking?
Yes, Mayor Seth Floyd, for the record, that gives us, I think, what we were looking for. And also, I just wanted to clarify, there are, I think, for a minute there, we were talking about two different, there are multi-year grants where they're asking for 2 grants in one, basically. They want 2 years of the same grant, like a parade that happens twice. And then there could be single grants that cover multiple years. So, for example, a documentary, it's possible, may not be done in 1 year, and that would be handled through the grant agreement, the length of time. So if they said we need to do a documentary, but it's going to take us a year and a half to do it, we would build that into the timeline. One thing that could happen with this guidance is if you had a new group that came in with a request for 2 years, they would ask for the 2. You can always approve something smaller than what's in the original request. So you could approve it for 1, but you can't go bigger.
Yes, Ryan.
Mayor, I would like to, if we could have actually a written policy that the Centennial Commission could read, I think that would be very helpful, just outlining what our policy is regarding multi-year contracts. Thank you.
Can I direct the staff to come up with a policy that reflects the views of the commission members? Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessary, but I feel like the point's being missed. Can't even talk.
New word.
A new word. I'm creating
The
stuff.
scary part is we all understood you.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's nodding. Yep.
Yeah, listen.
It's very simple to me. If we have a new applicant coming in and they're asking for multiple years, we've never seen or heard from them before, no. If it's a documentary, yes. I mean, and it extends
1 year at most.
a period of time, I get it. But if it's some sort of reoccurring thing, we want to vet them. We don't want the option on the table immediately for 2 years or 3 years or whatever it is. I think it's that clear cut.
Okay.
If it's something that's been before us and we keep approving it, yeah, give them the chance.
Okay. We're
All right,
good?
so, Mayor, just Seth Floyd, let me just summarize some,
Okay.
because we will write this up. So, a new request, it's for one grant. I mean, it may last more than a year, but it's one grant. You can't ask for multiple grants in one. If it is a repeat requester, they can ask for up to the two, just like the parade has gotten in the past and some other events. Is that? So we can write it up that way. Okay. Yeah, that's helpful
Cedric?
because we get and we get a lot of people who want to know, hey, how should I present this to the commission? What's the best practice? And we've evolved a bit, but this gives us some clarity. So I think that will be very useful.
Okay, and Cedric will bring it home, Cedric.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say if we do put in the, if you're going to create a policy, that it has to have some type of review for each year, whether the review is administratively or if it comes in front of council to present what happened that year with the dollars. They need to come, like I said, either administratively or in front of the commission.
Yeah, Seth Floyd for the record. So we do that I can't remember how it's written in the grant agreement, but you'll notice like if we were to give Duck Shed, for example, that was brought up, multiple years, they would come after each year to do, even though they're approved for 2 years, you would get a report after their event that particular year. Yeah, so we'll continue to do that.
Okay, thank you so much. Agenda item 13, report by the Executive Director of the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial regarding completed projects and announcements relative to the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial.
Thank you, Seaburn, for the record. I don't have any announcements other than just to say the projects that the commission has funded are all still in production or pre-production. That includes the Home and History, which will be in April, the rodeo in November, the website content creation. I'm going through those now. The UNLV oral sports history and the documentaries, which include the Paul Revere Williams 1990s, 1980s, and Fremont Street. So everything is moving along as it should.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions of our Executive Director? Seeing no questions, item 14, discussion regarding topics for future agenda items. Comments made during this portion of the agenda by individual members shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items. Any discussion shall be limited to whether or not such proposed items are within the purview of the commission and/or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any proposed topics shall occur and no action shall be taken. Does anybody wish to speak under this agenda item? Bob.
Yes, thank you. You're quite welcome. I know I overstated. I can't help it.
No, not at all.
You've been good. I've been too involved in this thing. By the way, I took a little time to look up Mr. Marble, and you should be aware of this. He was really big here. And he had been a newspaperman in Nebraska. Left that, went to work for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, moved out to the Southwest. He and his wife did. His daughter had come here on her own, met and married Archie Grant, who owned the Ford dealership. Big guy in town.
Yeah.
So he worked for Archie Grant and his daughter. And so, yes, he was quite well known and prosperous and hard worker.
Well,
And a great photographer, documented Native American life here and in the Southwest. So,
well, thank you.
I'd say
Thank
I'm
you
gonna
for
know more about
enlightening
Mr.
us.
Marble.
That's great.
Yeah, he's worthy. Thank you.
All right. Is there, seeing nobody wanting to speak under agenda item 14, agenda item 15, citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the commission. No subject may be acted upon by the commission unless the subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward, give your name for the record, the amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any speaker is allowed may be limited. It'll be limited to 2 minutes. Would anybody care to address the commission under citizens' participation? Seeing none, this meeting of the Centennial Commission is adjourned. Merciful heaven.